refusal kindly inside forgotten isolated desert towns like this. The waitress quietly locked the diner entrance nervously while trembling cooks peeked through kitchen windows watching disaster unfold dangerously before frightened, helpless, exhausted, terrified witnesses. Daniel noticed Emma secretly crying silently beside him, reminding painfully how his own young son cried after losing beloved family members unexpectedly years earlier. Something inside Daniel changed permanently during that heartbreaking moment because protecting Emma suddenly mattered more than protecting his own exhausted, fearful, uncertain, struggling existence. The scarred man grabbed Daniel violently, threatening immediate consequences unless the hidden package returned directly into their dangerous, ruthless, unforgiving, criminal, desperate, greedy, exhausted hands. But before violence exploded completely inside that frightened diner, Emma whispered another shocking truth, changing everything forever beyond anybody's wildest, fearful, emotional, heartbreaking expectations entirely. Emma revealed her missing mother worked secretly, exposing criminal smuggling operations happening throughout isolated desert towns across dangerous Western trading routes recently uncovered carefully. The hidden package contained important evidence connecting powerful businessmen, corrupt sheriffs, and ruthless outlaws controlling illegal operations across multiple struggling, forgotten frontier communities nearby. Her mother discovered terrifying information before disappearing mysteriously 2 nights earlier, leaving Emma instructions finding somebody trustworthy enough, protecting dangerous hidden evidence safely afterward. Emma explained her mother described trustworthy people carefully, saying honest hearts usually carried visible sadness because suffering often teaches genuine compassion toward frightened, vulnerable strangers. Daniel felt overwhelming emotion hearing those heartbreaking words because grief indeed transformed him into somebody understanding loneliness, fear, sacrifice, and desperate, painful survival intimately daily. The scarred man laughed cruelly before revealing Emma's mother likely already buried somewhere deep beneath lonely desert sands surrounding nearby abandoned, dangerous mining territories outside. Hearing those heartless words shattered Emma completely, causing heartbreaking tears stream endlessly across her exhausted, dirt-covered, trembling, frightened, hopeless, desperate, young, innocent little face silently. Daniel clenched his fists angrily while memories flooded painfully through his mind, reminding him exactly how devastating unexpected loss permanently destroys vulnerable, innocent, struggling, exhausted families. The rough strangers prepared, drawing weapons openly now because retrieving that hidden package clearly mattered more than avoiding witnesses or attracting dangerous, unwanted legal attention. And friends, this next moment proved courage sometimes emerges strongest from broken people already surviving unbearable, painful losses nobody else truly, completely understands emotionally. Daniel suddenly smashed a nearby coffee pot directly against the scarred man's shoulder, sending chaos erupting widely throughout the crowded, frightened, dusty restaurant instantly. Customers screamed loudly while chairs crashed violently because desperate panic spread quickly across every corner inside that isolated, storm-beaten roadside diner unexpectedly tonight. The waitress grabbed Emma protectively while Daniel wrestled brutally against 2 armed men beside overturned tables and shattered dinner plates scattered across dusty floorboards. Thunder exploded outside simultaneously, making the entire building shake violently while terrified horses outside neighed wildly beside pouring freezing, relentless desert rain tonight continuously. Daniel suffered painful punches repeatedly but refused surrendering because Emma's terrified cries reminded him protecting innocent children remained worth every painful, dangerous, exhausting, desperate sacrifice imaginable. One outlaw reached toward concealed revolvers aggressively before another customer unexpectedly tackled him fiercely, finally inspiring frightened diner patrons joining courageous resistance together courageously afterward. The scarred leader escaped briefly through kitchen doors while Daniel chased immediately despite bleeding heavily from deep cuts across exhausted, bruised, trembling, painful, weathered, exhausted knuckles. Rain soaked Daniel completely outside while muddy streets reflected flickering lantern lights beneath violent thunderclouds swirling dangerously across dark, terrifying, endless, lonely desert skies above. The scarred outlaw mounted horseback quickly, threatening Daniel one final time before disappearing recklessly toward abandoned canyon trails outside dangerous, isolated mining territories nearby tonight. But during the escape, Daniel secretly recovered important documents dropped accidentally beside muddy wagon tracks leading directly toward hidden criminal smuggling operations nearby uncovered suddenly. Sheriff Collins arrived shortly afterward alongside deputies responding nervously toward frightened reports describing violence erupting suddenly inside the peaceful roadside diner earlier that evening. At first, Daniel distrusted the sheriff completely because Emma's warnings suggested corrupt lawmen secretly protected dangerous criminals throughout surrounding struggling frontier communities nearby regularly. However, Sheriff Collins quietly revealed he investigated those smuggling operations secretly for months, lacking enough evidence exposing powerful businessmen funding dangerous criminal activities completely before. The recovered documents finally connected every missing piece together, including names, hidden supply routes, illegal payments, and terrifying details surrounding countless mysterious disappearances recently occurring. Emma listened silently while clutching warm blankets because exhaustion and heartbreak finally overwhelmed her small trembling body after terrifying days spent desperately hiding alone. Daniel stayed beside her protectively throughout the night because abandoning frightened children no longer felt emotionally possible after witnessing overwhelming loneliness consuming her completely earlier. The sheriff promised immediate protection while organizing posses searching nearby canyons carefully for remaining criminals connected directly toward dangerous smuggling operations throughout isolated desert territories nearby. Meanwhile, Daniel discovered something unexpected inside Emma's hidden package besides documents, including several photographs connected strangely toward his own painful, forgotten, complicated, tragic personal history. One photograph showed Emma's missing mother standing beside Daniel's late wife years earlier during community charity events helping struggling Western frontier families survive harsh, difficult winters. Suddenly, Daniel realized fate connected their lives long before that unforgettable, terrifying diner encounter unexpectedly changed both their broken, lonely, painful, uncertain, exhausted, struggling futures forever. Weeks passed slowly while authorities dismantled the dangerous smuggling network completely, finally restoring peace across frightened, struggling, isolated Western communities surrounding nearby frontier territories afterward successfully. Several criminals vanished permanently into desert wastelands while others faced justice publicly after Sheriff Collins courageously exposed widespread corruption hiding behind respected, wealthy, influential public figures. Emma's mother sadly never returned alive, but townspeople honored her bravery publicly because her sacrifice ultimately protected countless innocent, vulnerable, struggling, exhausted, forgotten frontier families everywhere. Daniel officially became Emma's guardian temporarily before eventually welcoming her permanently into his humble little family alongside his caring, thoughtful, compassionate, young, devoted, protective son afterward. The lonely ranch mechanic who once dined silently beside cold, untouched meals now returned home hearing laughter echo warmly throughout once painfully empty, exhausted, grieving hallways. Emma slowly healed emotionally too because Daniel's household finally gave her something missing since tragedy destroyed her world completely, including safety, kindness, belonging, and unconditional love. Sometimes painful storms still haunted their memories deeply, especially during thunderous desert nights resembling that terrifying, unforgettable diner encounter, changing everything forever emotionally afterward permanently. Yet those difficult memories also reminded them courage often begins quietly through simple acts, protecting vulnerable strangers during frightening, uncertain, painful, dangerous, desperate, overwhelming emotional life moments unexpectedly. And every customer visiting that roadside diner afterward remembered exactly where they stood, witnessing ordinary, broken people becoming heroes unexpectedly during terrifying, unforgettable, violent, emotional, heartbreaking circumstances together. Because sometimes destiny enters quietly through frightened whispers, forever changing lonely lives already carrying unbearable, painful, hidden emotional scars silently beneath exhausted, weary, hopeful hearts daily. So friends, if this unforgettable Wild West story touched your heart tonight, make sure subscribing supports many more emotional adventures arriving very soon here. Hit that like button proudly if you believe kindness still survives even inside humanity's darkest, frightening, painful, desperate, heartbreaking, difficult, dangerous, exhausting moments together today. And down inside those comments, tell me honestly whether you would risk everything protecting frightened strangers needing desperate, urgent, life-changing help unexpectedly one terrifying evening. Your thoughts and stories always inspire this growing community deeply, making every shared conversation feel meaningful, personal, emotional, and incredibly unforgettable together afterward always. Never forget that ordinary people sometimes carry extraordinary courage hidden beneath painful scars nobody else notices immediately during difficult, heartbreaking, exhausting, lonely, uncertain circumstances daily. Life changes quickly, friends, often beginning through tiny moments appearing completely unimportant before transforming entire futures forever beyond anybody's expectations unexpectedly afterward permanently. Until our next unforgettable Wild West journey together, stay strong, stay compassionate, and always protect people needing kindness during overwhelming, frightening, painful, desperate situations nearby. Because somewhere tonight, another lonely soul desperately hopes strangers still exist, carrying courage, honesty, warmth, and genuine compassion within exhausted human hearts everywhere today. Thank you sincerely for spending these emotional moments riding beside me through another unforgettable, heartbreaking, mysterious, powerful Wild West story tonight, dear loyal friends. And remember, subscribing, liking, and sharing your thoughts below keeps these powerful stories alive for countless viewers searching meaningful, unforgettable adventures online daily.